Does technology really matter when it comes to finding a home? And can you find a home through new technology like artificial intelligence? Things like ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, all of these different language models that are certainly more apparent. Hey, it's Ryan Hodge, broker, owner at the realty firm. Sandra Tavares and I have been selling real estate for nearly 20 years here in London, Ontario. And we have been involved with thousands of real estate transactions. A lot of people ask us the questions about how can you really find a home, especially when, things are really unusual in the market right now. There's a lot of uncertainty, but the market is the market. Okay. So people that are looking inside of the London and St. Thomas market right now are having success, but you want to go about it the right way. So back to technology. For many, many years, most people were just going on to realtor.ca. That is where they would start their search. Maybe they would be shopping around, online and find another real estate website, portal, things like that, which starts to give them access to some information. The challenge with this information is that oftentimes it's very dated. So when a home gets put onto the local MLS, it actually feeds from our system as real estate agents first and then gets ported over to all of the other portals, sites like House Sigma, sites like realtor.ca, real estate agent websites using the different feeds. We call these IDX feeds, things like that. And so oftentimes when a new home hits the market, it actually, when it hits these portals, can be behind. Sometimes it's immediate, sometimes it's 24 hours, sometimes it's up to a week. And so when a hot new listing hits the market, oftentimes it's really challenging, especially if it's priced well. A lot of people right now think that it's a buyer's market, which in essence it is. There's a lot more selection. There's more inventory coming on the market. We have over 5 months of inventory on the market. So it means that there's more options out there for buyers. And I believe that that will continue. But a well-priced home that is in a good area and has really great features is still moving quickly, within days usually. So you've got to be on it. And so back to the question, can technology and the newer technology really help with this? This is my insight, and I'm going to share a couple experiences with you that just recently happened in the last few weeks. Number one, you can certainly find out about real estate through artificial intelligence. You can go on to different websites. You can, take a look at things like ChatGPT and get some very good relevant information. You can actually research real estate agents on there as well, or real estate brokers like myself. And if you go into specific language models, you're going to get a lot of information about agents that probably have been around a while, probably understand technology, have a bunch of reviews on sites like Rate My Agent or Rank My Agent, or, porting from Google reviews and things like that. It's not that is going to allow you to secure the property, but you can certainly probably go on to these sites and find a qualified real estate agent for you to check out before you actually contact them. And here's what I would be looking at. Number one, it's not always about years of experience, because let's face it, the average realtor across North America sells between 3 and 5 homes per year. That's the average. So even if somebody's been in real estate for 20, 30, 40 years, if that was their average, they're really not that experienced other than being in the business for a long time. That being said, when somebody like myself, who was involved in over 200 transactions in my first 2.5 years and had a really strong trajectory in the business, I can safely say with documented results that I've got some pretty good experience inside of organized real estate. Same thing with my spouse, Sandra. When you start looking at, these models as well, you're going to probably get access to some really good review sites like Rate My Agent, where these are triple verified reviews, meaning that they're actually sussed out by the company in terms of, what transaction that somebody was involved with, or at least what area for privacy matters, things like that. And the reviews are actually verified versus somebody's brother or sister just going on to one of these sites and, plugging their, brother or sister that's the real estate agent. And it's great to support family, but this is a huge financial decision that you're going to be making. In fact, in my estimate, it's probably the biggest financial decision that somebody makes in their lives, whether they're buying, whether they're selling, whether they're investing, whether they're building. And so getting information and collecting that information and having that readily available through some of these new technology models, I think is fantastic, because it allows you to get an experience of an agent before you actually do business with them. And too often people get into relationships with real estate agents without really seeing how they work, without really understanding what they're all about, perhaps not understanding whether they've been operating at a really, really high level or just been in the business for an extended period of time. And whether that matters to you or not is entirely up to you. But what I can share is in a market like this, you need to have somebody that is very, very discerning, very experienced, and very qualified to help you navigate this market that we're in. Number one, in terms of buying, yes, you can put in lower offers, and yes, you can, think what a home's worth, but you want to look at what the home is actually going to be valued at inside of today's market from an objective standpoint. Okay, not just what you think, but having relevant information, deep market research available to you, so that if you do want to make an offer, you're going to be able to look at different approaches, such as, what's the average square footage in the area? What is their assessed value and what those ratios mean as far as, a suggested value based on that? What was their original purchase price? What kind of appreciation have we seen in the market? And then, of course, we've just seen a pretty significant depreciation. What are the contribution values in terms of upgrades that they may have made? And you can look at a lot of this information and determine this on ChatGPT or on Gemini or things like that. And you'll find some information that is going to be relevant, but you want to see how it applies to the particular home that you're going to offer on. It's the same thing with selling. You can get into a language model like ChatGPT and say, what's the average sale price in this area? But it's not 100% accurate. And what you want to know is not just the average sale price, but how long are homes taking to actually sell? Getting that kind of data in front of you before you put the home on the market. I had a seller that contacted me actually last week and had me into their home last week. We went back to visit them today, and they told me that they were on Gemini, and that's where they researched my name. And a lot of my information came up about, deep market research, which I'm very big on. I want to make sure that, my clients really, really understand numbers and have all of the data for them to make an informed decision, whether they're buying, selling, investing, or building. That data is available to all of us. But what I know is that not every agent uses it. Okay, not every realtor is the same in terms of the research that they're going to do to qualify, what a responsible offer or what a responsible acceptance of an offer should be. And so Gemini was one. And then last night, actually, I sold a property. A lovely lady that called me was on the market for almost a year with another agent through 2025. She found me through AI as well. She was doing some research on ChatGPT and some of the other platforms and found me. We came over. The research was showing that maybe she was a little bit off on price, and that, that struggle inside of this very, very popular neighborhood inside of London had a lot to do with the pricing, because the home itself was actually fantastic. Well, within 24 hours, we secured a buyer on the property without it even getting to market, and they had a successful sale where it was a very, very fair, in my opinion, and responsible offer that was also submitted and accepted. And that's the best thing about real estate, when two people feel that like they win. And so again, back to technology, there's lots out there. I've been using Google, using paid ads, social media, Facebook, Instagram, Meta, targeted ads to different cities, different postal codes, different email audiences for almost 15 years now. And the advancement of AI is only going to allow us as agents to get better if we understand it. And that's a key question that I would ask as well. If you're interviewing agents, one, on the buying side, or two, on the selling side, ask them what they're doing right now inside of some of these language models to do research, but also what are they doing to actually promote a home through some of these models? Because there's a lot of advantage to understanding them, not only from just marketing it out to the public, but having the research for agents that may be offering, or other people that are searching, because people are searching on ChatGPT just like they do Google. They're using Gemini just like they typically would, a Google search. And they want to know who is the listing agent as well on a listing, and, how active are they? And so all of this ties in. None of it's perfect, but I have had that question numerous times lately, and I wanted to respond back to you in this video. Will AI replace the real estate agent? I don't think so. Certainly not anytime soon. That's up for discussion. But I think the long-term, very active agent that works by referral, that does market accordingly, that is very, very active inside of the market, and also understands and embraces technology, is going to help his or her clients really, really lead the way over the foreseeable future. So hopefully you found that video insightful, impactful. And if you do enjoy this content, be sure to like and subscribe to this channel. I'm going to keep updating you weekly, daily at times with some of my smaller clips, and I'm here to support any time that you'd like. If you have any questions, by all means, reach out to Sandra or I, 519-859-5408, or you can always visit us at www.ryanhodge.ca.